With that, Jeff, you are on the clock.
Thank you for asking me to do this. Totally unprepared, but Lord, please bless us and guide our hearts, our minds, and our tongues. And we thank you for this opportunity to come together and do the right thing in your name. And we pray that we do. Please bless us, bless our world and our country. In Jesus' name we ask this. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
I gotta take my hat off.
Right.
I'm going straight down.
Can I have a roll call, please?
Clifton.
Here.
Fitch. Here. Skins. Here.
All present. We have 3 amendments to the agenda. One would be striking Teddy Yeager's presentation. The other one would be removing Resolution G for Bobby Sawhill's VPN access. And the final one would be adding the courthouse use permit for the John Wayne birthday celebration on Saturday, May 25th. Could I have a motion to amend the agenda as such?
So I will second.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the amended agenda.
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have 3 public hearings today. The first one is regarding a budget amendment for FY24. Can I have a motion to enter into a public hearing for the FY24 budget amendment?
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Shelley, everything published as required?
It was,
Have you
yes.
received any written comments?
None.
All right, give us a little.
All right, so first one is the medical examiner budget. We are increasing by $10,000 to cover increased medical exams that we are required by law to pay for. The ambulance department, I'm increasing their budget by $33,207. Part of that is the MGADC cost. Then we received the Farmers Electric Cooperative Grant, building maintenance costs, and then radio equipment. Environmental health, I'm increasing that budget by $4,489. That's for an insurance change due to a personnel change. Public health, I'm increasing their budget by $6,905. Part of that is once environmental health moved out of that building, then their phone, what was taken out of their budget for phone costs went up. The other part is for Stop the Bleed kits, which is going to be covered by a grant, but we won't receive the grant revenue until after July 1st, so you won't see that revenue down at the bottom.
So you'll pay for it and get reimbursed.
Economic development, I'm increasing those expenditures by $15,016. That's for the Earlham Intensive Survey expenses. You'll see a revenue down at the bottom for that. Conservation, increasing that by $40,000 for conservation project expenses that are going to be paid by donations. Non-departmental, increasing it by $38,325. That's for CDBG expenses. We do get revenue for that to cover that. The recorder's office, I increased that budget by $10,215. That was an insurance change due to a qualifying event for an employee. Board of Supervisors reducing the budget by $5,000 to remove the budget director stipend. Building and grounds increasing by $78,350 to cover utility cost increases, building maintenance repair, and security system costs. Local option sales tax, increasing the expenditures for that by $85,000 for building maintenance and repair costs. Human resources, reducing the expenses by $12,500 for insurance change. And then so total decrease in fund balances for expenses is $304,007. And then we have revenue, additional treasurer's office revenue, $300,000. That's for insurance or investment interest. That's up quite a bit this year compared to previous years. Additional sheriff's office revenue, $80,000, that's the SRO payment from I-35 schools. Additional economic development revenue, $15,016, that matches the expenses that I talked about up top for the Earlham Intensive Survey reimbursement. Additional conservation revenue, $62,500, that's donations and private grants that they've received. Additional ambulance revenue, this is that Farmers Electric Co-op grant. And then additional non-departmental revenue, $38,325 for CDBG revenue. So total fund balance increases for revenues, $496,841, meaning we will increase our final fund balances by $192,834.
Perfect. Thank you, Shelley. Anyone wish to comment on regarding this matter this morning? If not, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn this public hearing at 10:06 a.m.
So moved.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next public hearing is revision to Ordinance 60, the General Assistance Program. Can I have a motion to enter into public hearing regarding revisions to Ordinance 60?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We are in a public hearing for Ordinance 60 revision. Who wants to speak to that?
I can speak to that. So this came up when we were discussing funeral expenses and how to handle in cases of, say, the person that was deceased, they needed help, but the spouse wasn't working, and other cases where did it include rent of a lot in addition to the mortgage if they're in a mobile home. So we clarified all that, as well as update some of the language, like what does utilities mean?
Does it include super?
It includes super, so propane, fuel, oil, so we kind of covered all our bases. The other thing is, we decided as a board to update and go up to 125% of the poverty line to give up due to increasing expenses and stuff like that. Basically, kind of moving along with the federal guidelines. We also cleaned up some language to be a little bit more consistent throughout the document. Clarified poor and needy person, that type of stuff. So all the stuff down here that was posted on our website, all the changes were highlighted in yellow for folks to see. Not a lot of changes, but we basically updated and reviewed the ordinance.
And we did that not too many years ago, and I should have asked if it's all published as required. And was there any written comment?
No.
I mean, you know, the funeral expense situation was the reason we looked at it.
That's what triggered
And the
it.
other stuff was mostly housekeeping. So.
Yeah, and we got significant impact from Tura, who took over managing this. So I reached out to them and said, hey, what are some recommendations based on your interaction with folks? Where are you seeing gaps where you're coming to me and saying, well, what does this mean? Can we cover that?
Clarification on
And I
that.
said, I really can't tell you yes or no, it's a board decision. So, so this is gonna hopefully make it a little bit easier for them to manage, because there'll be more clarity in
Yep.
the ordinance.
I think it looks pretty straightforward. Anyone here wish to speak on the revisions to Ordinance 60? Seeing none, I ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have a public hearing regarding the Terrace Pines minor subdivision. I have a motion to enter into public hearing at 10:08 a.m.
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Ryan, you are up.
Okay.
Everything published as required?
Yes.
Did you receive any written comment?
No.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So applicants, Todd and Renee Montgomery are requesting final subdivision plat approval for Terrace Pines subdivision. This is a 2-lot subdivision, currently zoned agricultural. Acreage involved is 36.18 acres. Board of Supervisors do have to approve the plat. Let's see, so current legal use, the current parcel contains a dwelling which is occupied by the owners and applicants, and a metal pole building for storage. Roughly 13 acres are in row crop or agricultural production. Todd and Renee purchased this 36.18 acres from Greg and Tricia Criswell in June of 2003 for $114,000. then constructed the outbuilding in 2004 and the dwelling in 2006. There is 4/10 of an acre that's located within the FEMA flood zone, the 100-year flood zone, in the southeastern portion of Lot 1. It's very, very minute. Staff has determined the CSR2 of this area to be 35.66, which is below our 70, called out in our comprehensive plan. The plat is not within 2 miles of any incorporated city, therefore no additional review is necessary. And the existing entrance for driveway for Lot 1 has been approved by the engineer with that work order of 16-113. And a previous field entrance access has been approved by the engineer as well for Lot 2, work order 16-114.
Okay, all right. Anyone wish to comment on this matter? Okay, seeing none, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing on Terrace Pines.
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We've reached the public comment section of our meeting. If anyone wishes to speak today, please raise your hand and we'll call you to the podium. Seeing none, we will move on.
This isn't ours, WhiteTail's yet, is it?
If you want to talk about it, this is your opportunity.
This is it right here?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Please state your name and address for the record. You've got 3 minutes.
Sure. My name is Becky Knight, and I'm 3212 278th Lane is my home address. I'm the owner of the WhiteTail property. What I would like to do is a couple things real quick here. I have 3 minutes and then, can I give you guys
Sure.
minutes?
Yes.
Section 7 is non-conforming use of a building. This is in our current ordinances. This is what we should be going by in my opinion. Thank you. Yep. It reads here, any building structure that is lawfully established and exists on the effective date of this ordinance, group does not conform to all the regulations of the district in which is located, may be continued subject to the provisions of the ordinance on the effective date thereafter. It is not conform to the subsequent amendment thereof, and it may be continued thereafter subject to the provisions of section. To avoid hardship, nothing in this ordinance can be deemed or is required to change it in the plans. It goes on to talk about if it was new construction, if it was started prior to the ordinance, and all that kind of thing. This is in the current ordinance that we have. Let me get this real quick. I have examples of Diane's house. I have examples of houses along that same street that everybody's within. Your current structure, your house, this kind of thing is within 13, 40 feet of the right of way. Not the center of the road, but the right of way. So my point is this, I sell real estate for a living. If we go to the point where we start doing subdivisions, where people would add ground to their house, or they take away, or they do subdivisions kind of thing, if there is a building that's too close to the right of way, and we start knocking these down, and people have to keep coming in here to go through this process to knock it down, I feel is unfair. They talked about, I mentioned what I was saying before, that my dilapidated building. I'd like to give you a picture of what the dilapidated building looks like that they're referring to. That is the grain bin that is there right now. This is one more example. This is Truro right here, and this is where my grain bin is. This is all the homes between Truro that are all too close to the road. That falls within the 50-foot setback, that according to what they're talking about would have to be knocked down. Or structures, there's grain bins in there, there's buildings in there. I guess the point I'm trying to make is this, is that it's a non-conforming use. It's been there since 1990. I feel that what's happening here is this overstretch of what they're doing, you know.
Becky, thank you, your time's up.
And can I mark my choice as
Certainly.
well, please?
Mark Scott with Jordan Oliver Walters, isn't it? I was just gonna talk to you a little more broadly just about non-conforming uses. So basically, a non-conforming use is a land use or structure that was legal when established, and then for some reason becomes not legal. So the big part that I think she was trying to get to you is that this is gonna occur over and over again with ag property. So with the ag properties, they're exempt from zoning, so you can't be told where to build the building or house. And then they become non-ag exempt if they're sold to a non-farmer. At that point, they're non-conforming use. So, in our opinion, those non-conforming uses should continue.
All right, anything else, Mark? Okay, thanks. Any other public comment this morning? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to presentations. Ryan, you are up. Sir?
It's an extra long one. Stuck over the last time. So since last time, we had that training in Kansas City that took us to me out for the last full week of April. A really good training. The Greater Madison County Community Foundation has made its grant selections for the year, so they had 37 applicants, 140K was in that granting pool. Working on all the paper, that meeting was last Friday, so we're in the process of getting all the paperwork process for that. So all the no's go out first and the yeses go out, so that'll probably take a full 2 weeks to kind of shift that into the schedule and kind of get all that out the door. The Cemetery Restoration Fund had its first applicant. Worthington Cemetery is working on 15 stones, so they're going to get those either reset or repaired. So it's good to see that getting used. The Southwest Fiber Project, if you recall, we were looking at like $30-some thousand a home on that installation build out. The hybrid system that they were proposing with the state of Iowa was a no-go. The state was not going to compromise on that. But the state continues to give John and Casey Mutual a lot of flexibility in the project, try to figure out how to make it happen. They want it to happen, so he's working with a firm to do re-engineering on the entire thing, figure out how to lay it out so we might be able to still afford to get that project in. So it's not dead, it's just on life support, continues to kind of come along. We also continue to work with $2 million plus building projects in and around the city of Winterset, doing a lot of help with the financing packages on those, tapping multiple revolving loan funds to make that happen. So that's kind of the majority of the hot potato that are going around. You guys got any questions?
What's the Truro business?
There's a gentleman that wants to put in a place to store equipment. Apparently there's a demand for equipment storage in and around near the metro, and he owns some ground, and they're trying to figure out if they can make it work.
All right, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, no problem. Appreciate it.
Brady, you're up. Guess it's kind of a tough time since the last time. We're busy scheduling.
Yeah. So last month, we had 109 ambulance calls. Kind of see the breakdown there in Winterset, the county, or surrounding Winterset, with Winterset mainland. Everything was good on that. Still having the Ragbrai meeting every Monday. I talked to them, they're supposed to allegedly be coming to a board meeting to present at some time.
And then they invited us to that town hall, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
I might
don't-
give a report on that, and that may or may not be
Yeah,
necessary.
we did Stop the Bleed at the Winterset Junior High School. The Lions have got their AED at the football field, the public use AED, up and ready to go. It's they had a monthly meeting with, with Madison County Hospital. We had a first opioid committee meeting. We're having another meeting, this week to work on some of that. We did have a meeting with the Ragbrai staff. They come in and kind of went over a few things that's gonna happen, I guess, on their end, how things will work. We just received a $5,000 grant from the Shelburne EF and Sylvia Foundation main grant for the power cot load system. We just received that check at the end of last month. So we're up to $6,000 now in that fund for the new power load system.
How much do you need?
63,000.
And you're still in the running for CICS, I saw.
Yeah, we've still got a couple grants out there,
Grant.
for sure. And we've had a couple students from SWIC come up and do some ride time. And then the main bulk of that paperwork you got there is the new Medicaid for that GEMT that we'll be getting the payment in July for last year. This is the new updated one, that's increased. They're saying the Medicaid is shortfalling us $1,300, I think $1,300 some dollars.
So you're getting more payments?
So, yeah, so the last one was 1,200 and, I don't remember the exact number, I don't have it in front of me. The last one was 1,200 and some dollars, we were shorted on every Medicare transfer. Everybody in the nation is shorted that on every Medicare transfer. Well, theirs are different depending on their operations, of course. But ours is increased from 12 something to 1396.65. So, how that works is, after July 1st sometime, we will get payment, and we've been paying in, we have to put in our 33% from state level, is what they call it, from the county, then the feds will give their 60-some% plus our 33% back to us. So we'll get all of it back.
So you pay it in,
We pay a small portion of it in, they say to draw down the federal funds.
right, and then they
And then they
reimburse.
put their money in and pay it all back to us, so we'll get one check from them after July 1st for, I believe it was around $109,000 is what they projected from last year's runs. This year, we just submitted, the new stuff, signed it, got it into them, $1,300 and some dollars per Medicaid run from last year.
So does this mean that we're gonna be reimbursed from the state?
We'll get reimbursed, so we'll get our money back. So we have to pay, I have to make GEMT payments every month, depending on the amount of Medicare calls we go, Medicaid calls we go on. We pay it in monthly for our 33 point some percent. They hold that money after July 1st, they'll pay us all of our money back, plus the other 66 point whatever percent that the feds kick on top of it in one check, they give it all back to us.
You have any idea how much that will be altogether?
It should be somewhere around 109,000 after July 1st sometime. I don't know exactly what date, they don't tell you what date they're gonna give you the money.
And you pay it in because why are you paying it in?
We have to. That's
It's
part-
just a law.
Yes, it's part of the federal contract
So-
that we have to pay in our portion.
So help me understand what this $1,300 is then.
So we did all that data collection and stuff we did. So what they're saying is they went through our operating costs, what it costs. They're saying that it costs,
$1,300.
they say it costs this much money to run a single ambulance call. This is what the feds have said it costs Madison County to run a single ambulance call. They go back and look, and Medicaid pays us roughly $147 a call. That's all we get. Can't go after the patient, which is fine. But that's all we get, 147 something. They deemed that since we're in this program now, this is what we're short. We're short. For last year, we were short $1,200 and some dollars per call. This year, we're short $1,300 because of increased expenses.
Is it the 1396?
Yeah.
point 65,
Yeah,
so
that's-
almost 1,400.
Yep, but that, and now, and that won't be, we're paid, we won't get that money until 25.
So that'll be our rate reimbursement transfer.
For 25.
What we're going to
Yeah,
get soon,
because,
these are the previous
because
year.
of, yeah, because of last year fiscal, we'll get paid this fiscal, so we're a year behind.
Okay, so this is not something, this amount.
This
just
is,
went
this is
up
the
again.
new, this is the new contract that I just signed, so that you guys have a
But
record
this is
of it.
something that, you know, the county will pay for, but we'll get reimbursed that.
We have to pay 33, I think it's 33.
Must be a third of this.
Some
And
percent
that's a
of that.
federal mandate that
That's a
you have to.
federal mandate, we have to pay if we want them to give us money.
Oh, okay.
But we get our money back.
We get all of our money back plus extra.
And this, will this be the first payment we'll
This
receive?
will be the first one we got.
So you're putting it in one hand and taking it.
Well, so yeah, so they're taking it, they say it's to draw down the federal funds.
Okay.
It's
But
out
that-
there.
That's huge, I mean,
Yeah.
It
rough,
is.
dirty, quick and dirty numbers,
Yeah.
these aren't right, but your program, your
Seventy-
budget 600,000, and you get, and we generally receive 400, now we're getting 500, that closes the gap a bunch.
Yeah, so, yeah, so we'll keep,
Good for
keep
you.
doing it as
Thank
long
you.
as they'll do it.
And Brady, should have been doing this a long time ago, and
Yeah,
you're,
it's been open now for 5 years, and we just got it last year.
All right, thanks for getting us in.
thanks, yeah, thanks
Thank you.
Brady.
All right, moving on, ordinances for board consideration. We do have an ordinance, ordinance number 60 revisions. Can I have a motion to approve the first reading of that?
So moved. It doesn't matter, I'll second it.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane, any other discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we will be revisiting that at our next two meetings. Next, we're on to resolutions, which we have several, but none of them too terribly controversial, I don't believe. First one is assessors resolution approving real estate additions and deletions. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second,
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
looks like we've lost a few family farms based on these numbers.
That's probably true. There's no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution is approving a revised effective date to April 21st for Stephen Fox's wage increase. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have 3 EMS resolutions approving write-offs on various accounts. I'd like to consider those together. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is an HR resolution approving the revised effective date of the seatbelt cell phone policy adoption. It should read April 23rd and 24th, I think the original one said August. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right. Item G is being stricken. Item H, it's a resolution for VPN access to the treasurer's office, expiring on July 31 of this year. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is a resolution for public health approving Susan Crowdis as the interim full-time public health administrator at $30.58 an hour effective February 5th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
And this was a board recommendation.
It was, I attended the meeting last week on this. Because she's doing a lot of work.
And has been.
And has been, obviously not the RN part, but everything else. They decided it's only fair and to change her salary. Now, what I just noticed, that it was, they decided to go back to February 5th, which is something they discussed. I didn't have a specific date. They just told HR to go back to whenever she started actually doing it. So, It was pretty much a unanimous decision on that. I think it's only fair.
It is, but is she gonna get back pay then, or she's
Well, if
getting?
it's
They're gonna get
effective
back
February
pay.
5th.
It is, yeah. So with the idea, they are gonna be meeting again tonight or tomorrow to discuss how they're gonna do it, because obviously she can't do this forever. So, I don't know what they're gonna decide.
Alright.
So, but,
In
yeah.
motion anyway, okay. Michelle, we have a motion and a second on that.
Yeah,
We
I
do.
motion, I was.
All right, we have a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. We have two sheriff's office resolutions, one appointing Travis Allen as a deputy sheriff, the other appointing Robert Donovan as a deputy sheriff. Can I have a motion to approve those resolutions?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
Is Travis related to Clayton Allen? No,
I don't know.
just curious.
If there's no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution is the supervisor's resolution approving the FY '24 budget amendment number 3. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the supervisor's resolution approving a change request 42 for the south doors for asbestos abatement and reglazing in the total of $2,803.60. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion?
Do we know, are they gonna reglaze those doors as they, while they're upright, or are they gonna take them off?
No, they'll be.
They'll leave them up.
They'll leave them upright?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, if there's no other discussion, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries. Next resolution is approving Cassie Hatfield to the Veterans Affairs Commission. This is a reappointment. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next we have a secondary roads resolution approving work agreement with Jim Van Worden effective May 8th. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have three resolutions regarding road closures by secondary roads I'd like to consider together. Is there a motion to approve those three resolutions?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane, any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next secondary roads resolution is approving the acceptance of the bid by Local Traffic Solutions for $87,546.43. This would be for line painting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. So we have a zoning resolution approving Andrew Hornbeck as a full-time environmental health officer at $28.50 an hour effective yesterday. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is a zoning resolution approving the Terrace Pines minor subdivision. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Heather, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Diane. Any further discussion?
I do have a question. On the map, it said acres is 2.53. Is that because it doesn't include the right of way on that one? I forgot to ask you at the hearing, my apologies.
2.53 on the plat.
The little corner there, on the little carve out on the top corner, top right corner. Am I misreading that?
2.5, so this is an existing parcel up
Oh,
here,
okay.
owned by somebody else.
Oh, okay,
So it's not part of this plat at all?
It's not.
okay, okay. All right, thanks.
We got any other discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Our next is a zoning resolution approving WhiteTail Acres minor subdivision, which has been discussed this morning and is in question a little bit. Anyone have a motion on that?
Would you entertain approving this pending that the two lawyers sit down together and
That's
come up
kind of what we did 3 weeks ago
I'm not,
and read it in pass.
I'm not comfortable. I understand we have an ordinance, and I understand the legalities, and I totally get that. And if this was falling apart, I would say, yeah, for safety reasons, it needs to go down.
If you look at Ryan's photos of it they submitted,
It's
it's
pretty
obviously
bad,
not
on
usable.
the inside it's pretty bad.
Yeah, I'm just,
Would there be someone of interest to just remove that for the salvage value of it?
I think you could get somebody.
It's just a really dangerous road to go down. Who says what's got to be knocked down and what doesn't? I mean, you open this can of worms, it's going to be a can of worms for a long time.
I'm just not
I
comfortable.
mean, how many times has this ever come up before? With the amount of grain bins in this county?
Not that often, but anyway.
The thing is if we would've, we bought this not even a year ago, right? And then the ordinance, it says we have a year to repair it, or do whatever we wanna do with it. If the ordinance says that, we have only owned it for 7 months. So, you know what I mean, thank God I didn't put tons of money in it, cause you, at this point, they'd make me knock it down. So, you know what I'm trying to say, so give me a chance to do what you want me to do to make it better, I'll do whatever. I mean, it's not bad.
Is there a way, do you think we can make it to where if they wanna keep it, they have to restore it to where it's not dangerous?
Well, I don't think it's dangerous, it's just really rusted along the bottom. And I doubt the other person who buys it, or I suppose you could store it.
There's just one more point. If someone's going to build a $500,000 house on this piece of land, they're not going to keep jumping. They're not going to, if it's an eyesore to them, they're going to knock it down.
Then we could approve it pending that the new owner tears it down.
But that's also a lawsuit on us. If we sell it and they may knock it down, we sold it as a building.
But you
Well,
could
they would
sell
have,
it
they'd
that-
know upfront that
under
it had to be
condition that,
raised.
like, I bought property that I knew I had.
They
to
might as well knock it down.
raise.
I mean,
It's,
that's,
the thing is, if you, you know, have you been there to see it?
It's down by Ivo Ramson.
South of Truro, yeah. I mean, I don't understand why everybody was saying that it's dilapidated. I don't, you know, it's not. You know, you could put stuff in there, you could store things in there, you could, like, it doesn't leak. I don't understand where that's coming from.
I mean, I've seen worse grain bins. And this is not, it's not falling down.
it's Americana.
Yeah.
It's part of the Madison
It's
County.
Madison County.
It still looks structurally sound, it's messy, but
Who-
I've seen homes worse than that in our county, and, I'm just not comfortable requiring them to tear it down when it's been there. I mean, I understand that we wanna be compliant with the ordinances, but they made a good point, are we gonna require tear down of any structure that's within the, within, doesn't match our ordinance with houses, barns, Morton buildings,
No, I get that.
so, we wanna make sure we treat everyone equally. Now, when we do the ordinance redo, obviously this is gonna have to be addressed. But until that time, it's up to us on how we wanna interpret it. So,
More than likely, someone buying that house, buying that lot to put up a new house is going to tear it down. I guess
unless
that's
they
all.
turn it into Airbnb, as some people have done, I mean,
I have another grain bin just not very far from that I rent out to a farmer. That could be an option too.
Not with the pictures,
You know, and-
not based on the pictures I saw, but
Yeah, the pictures are kind of bad on the inside.
Well, I would love to see those pictures. I'd love to even verify those are my barn, my grain bin.
all right, well, technically, there's really no spot for public discussion on this matter. Do we have a motion to consider?
I'll make a motion that we approve this, request and waive the requirement to tear down the grain bin.
We have a motion. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? I would just say, Ryan, thank you for working to enforce this as you see it. I certainly see both sides of the equation. If I was buying it, I'd tear the whole thing down, and probably somebody with a skid loader could have it on the ground pretty short.
If it was me, I'd make it a shoe shed. That's just me.
So, anyway, that said, we have a motion on the floor. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor of approving the motion indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
I'm gonna vote nay just because of what Aaron said.
All right.
That's okay.
Motion carries. All right, thank you, everybody. Good discussion today. And as we move forward on cleaning up some of these ordinances, this is something that needs to be addressed.
We have copious notes on
Copious. Okay. All right, next, moving on to some applications. We have a motion to approve an application for a temporary liquor and wine license for Top It Off LLC. Not located at Hogback Ridge Road. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
We have to approve the John Wayne.
Next, we have an application for grounds use for the John Wayne birthday celebration. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Diane. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Heather. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, other business. Board member reports. I'll let somebody else go first so I can catch my breath.
I can go. I had, we had EMS interviews yesterday. We interviewed 3 potential new paramedics. I had the courthouse tour for donors on Saturday. And there are some things we probably should talk about. We're parking our county truck there and on weekends, and when people there are a lot of people taking pictures.
Yeah.
And I think I would like, I think it's
It's
Park it on the
Saturday.
street.
or park it
Or
over
park
at
it
the,
over
park it
there.
at the annex.
Okay.
And,
And that-
clean up all that stuff that's down there. It's just full of stuff.
Oh, on the ramp?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that probably shouldn't be there. I did attend North and Middle River Watershed meeting, and that was incredibly interesting. There is a lot of DNR money, and we are looking into it, yeah. It was very unclear. DNR, no, one hand kind of didn't know what the other hand was doing, but it had a lot of money for non-point source pollution. And I asked the question, can we use that for bridges? Because bridges are, as they get so aged, cutting deeper and wider and non-point solution. Well, could we use that and match money? Yeah, well, they don't know. So we're looking into if we can, yeah. We also got information from roadside management. There's quite a bit of money from the DOT, but you don't qualify basically if you don't have roadside management department, which is only Lynn, Johnson,
Galveston.
big counties have that, because that's a very costly. So they are going to discuss that this morning. I attended CICS. Oh, and the North and River, going back to that, they said, please, please get your comp plan done so you get ordinances done. Because it's hard for them,
I have an update, so.
yeah,
I'll
they
wait.
want that done like now. Okay, that's all.
All right, Heather, I'll let you go next.
Okay, I went, since last we met, there's been 2 Board of Health meetings that I've gone to. There's another one tomorrow. Went to the Badger Creek budget hearing.
And they lowered their levy down to a nickel,
Yeah,
but they're sitting on it.
they're sitting on a lot of money, which makes me irritated, but anyway. The comprehensive plan, I can do an update that at our next, there to do it now. They should have something to us by the,
Oh, good, so we can,
So our
good.
final, our draft will be available?
yes,
Excellent.
so, but, just plan on Monday, because, if there's just in your head, think Monday,
So
but.
sometime between now and our next meeting, we'll have the
Yeah,
draft to
yes.
review.
And they'll
So,
send it to us for a draft, and then we'll have.
Yeah,
a
it's gonna
public
be,
hearing.
they want to send it to you, guys look at it, see what you think, any tweaking you want done, and then at that point, we can start setting a public hearing.
Good, get that
Um,
done.
So, my recommendation is that we do three, one, like we did, we can have the official public hearing, but, have multiple sites to where we can do it, and I can sit on that too, it depends on what you guys want to do. It's just so it gives an opportunity for the folks to give feedback. So I'm looking forward to that. We also, I gave him a ton of different pictures, because you had mentioned that you didn't want stock photos. So, been working through other folks, getting pictures, so hopefully we'll have, but I'll rely on you two to kind of say, hey, this isn't in our county, because I'm not familiar with all the areas, so.
Only way I could tell it, one, because it's a hard surface road, I'm certain that was.
Yeah. So, and then I got notified that, that of the 15 requests that Congressman Nunn received for wish list for appropriations, 14 in some format were approved by his team. I'm waiting to see if any of our bridges were part of that, so.
Well, and that's kind of dovetails with what Teddy was gonna talk about, because she has Debbie Durham coming to town in June.
Right.
And the program that they have is, it would be 35%, so if Feds could come in with 65% or
Right.
55% or something like that, that might make the Hogback Hollowell project doable.
Right, so, well, what we did, Mike, I worked with Mike on that, is we asked for all of them. So the whole $4 million plan thing, and his chief of staff said the most they ever got for an appropriation was $4 million. So, I asked, hey, ask not, you don't have unless you ask, so we asked for all of them. Now, whether or not they decided to do all, I don't know, and I don't know which of the 15 requests that they didn't accept. So, I'm waiting for a response back from his deputy chief of staff to see if we.
Nice to get some.
How much would the bridges, would each bridge be over $1 million, the covered bridges?
Larger projects are gonna be over, the larger bridges are gonna be over $1 million. The other two that are smaller bridges are 800,000, 650,000.
Call it $1 million.
So I don't know what's going to turn out, this is just the first step.
Yeah.
So, because each congressman woman can give up to 15 different projects, and then they dinker during the debate process, it doesn't mean you're gonna get all 15.
So these aren't earmarks like they used to be, though,
They
but
are.
they sound like they
They
are.
But,
But
so
that doesn't
these
mean
are just
they
the
get the
wish
money.
list.
Is that right?
Huh?
Even if they're earmarked, it doesn't mean they'll get the money.
But
Well,
it-
no, once they become legislation and it's passed through both chambers and then signed, then you get the money. But this is just the first step in the process. Each congressman and congresswoman puts 15 forward, and then they decide which of those 15 makes it. So this is just the first phase. It doesn't mean any of these are gonna make it.
We gotta keep casting and hope something
Right.
bites.
Right, so
It's all good.
I'm hoping that we at least made the first phase. I'm waiting for a response.
Excellent. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I had a CICS meeting since we last met. Sounds like there's still a little bit of movement on what the regions might look like. We could potentially end up remaining in CICS and carving Polk out. That would be nice if we did. I don't really necessarily want to be that, we're already a small fish in that pond. I don't want to be a puddle in Polk County's pond. So stay tuned on that. By August 1, that's supposed to be clarified. I went to that Ragbrai meeting, as I mentioned. I've got a couple of handouts here I can share with you. A couple noteworthy things that they've changed since the last time. Every county they drive through, even if they're just through the corner of it, they're giving them $5,000, half the secondary roads and half the sheriff's department. So, hey, better than nothing. And the cities, the overnight towns are getting 50, the pass-through towns are getting something, meeting towns are getting something anyway, which amounts to seed money, because in the past, I saw their budget, they've got $50,000, they're expecting their budget to be $80,000, and they make up more than $30,000 from.
Is it true that the meeting I attended, they give you the money, but then you have to provide all the KIBOs, and so you really end up upside down?
I heard too, but I don't know.
So they're providing KIBOs at the campgrounds, as I understood it. If there are certain things you're gonna have to provide, but in the past, when everybody's coming to town, hey, we need you guys to pony up some money and maybe we'll break even on it. Well, now you're getting $50,000 from them. on an $80,000 budget, your chances of breaking even on that are a whole lot better than if it was all 80,000 on you. So, that's the committee's deal, so we'll see where that goes. Things that affect the county, I've got the route map here. Basically, they're gonna come in, on, Old 169, and leave by Old 169. The campground is gonna be at, the primary campground is going to be by the pool, that sort of field out there. Parking issues. There'll be no parking on the 9-block area around the square beginning 5 o'clock Monday night. It will remain so until the majority of the riders are gone on Wednesday, which you're thinking is about 10 o'clock. The last time Ragbrai came through town, we were concerned, well, do we need to shut down the courthouse on Tuesday, that type of thing. The reality of it was, there was lots of activity going on, but riders weren't dropping in until, most of them weren't coming in until after 4, and it's gonna be a long day and a hilly day coming into that. So, as far as our employees at the courthouse are concerned, other than the parking situation, I don't know that it affects things very much on Tuesday,
So why are they not requiring parking? Why are they restricting parking?
because there's gonna be vendors parked all around the square, there's gonna be a beer tent around the square,
Okay.
all of that stuff.
All right.
So how, on Tuesday, how do I get to work? I'll have to go 92?
On Tuesday.
Because aren't they going to St.?
Coming into town won't be an issue, because you'll be here way before any of the bikers are riding. You can ride on drive on Old 169.
No, but I mean, I would have to, they're coming from the Winterset to the St. Charles Highway in the morning.
Yes.
So that St. Charles Highway would be shut down.
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday. That's Wednesday, yeah.
That's how they're leaving, because they're going to go to St. Charles.
Tuesday night, yeah, so Wednesday they'll go to St. Charles.
Wednesday morning, yeah.
I'll be all right.
So, if I was coming into town Wednesday morning with all the bike traffic, and I looked where you were at, I'd go down to Peru, or Churro, come up through Peru, shoot over to the new 169 and come into town, and you wouldn't hardly interfere with anybody.
I have a meeting at the landfill, so I'll just go the other way.
That works too.
That works too.
Shoot up Bevington Parkway and come in on 92.
Yeah.
Either way, there's ways to get around that. So, as far as our employees are concerned, on Tuesday, there won't be any parking in that 9-block radius. So, I have to walk a couple blocks, but it was just really, it was busy around there that Tuesday morning, as I recall, but there wasn't a whole lot going on until a little bit later, so. And then on the morning of, around the square, they'll be tearing stuff down and whatnot, but as far as most of the activities there, that'll be wrapped up.
Do they need to, have they already got permission to use the square, the courthouse?
Not yet, we haven't got that permit yet, but
Okay.
I'm sure that'll be
Now,
coming.
did they talk about, at my meeting, they're really kind of pushing them out. They're not letting them hang all.
Yeah, because
Yeah, they have
they
a
want,
security that's saying.
it's
move
kind of
on.
interesting, Highway Patrol is there, they've got 2 different crews of Highway Patrol.
Yeah.
One is the traffic ones where they stand at the intersections and, hey, if we need to get traffic through here, we'll stop the bikes, etc. And the other crew calls along and says, hey, breakfast town, like St. Charles,
Shut her
breakfast
down.
time is done, hit the road.
Yeah.
And it even gets more important further down the road, because a lot of times traditionally, the last stop before the overnight is kind of turned into a party town
Yeah.
spot a little bit. So they're gonna be shutting stuff down as they.
That's what they said, they'd shut them down. Now, what did they determine here? I know in St. Charles, Ragbrai doesn't care if they have, somebody sells pork chop on a stick on the way, but
That was kind of what I heard.
The towns
In
do
that,
not want-
in that 9-block radius, you have to be a permitted vendor, unless you're a church or something like that, which would be different.
so only permitted vendors are gonna be allowed.
Within 9 blocks of the square. Some-
Are we worried about people camping out on the courthouse grounds?
They didn't before.
I don't know that
I
that's
remember.
too much of an issue,
Okay.
because all the activity's gonna be there, I mean,
They didn't last time.
I don't recall that
No,
being an issue.
it was okay last time. It was just hard getting to work.
So, and that might be the time when they actually present to us when they apply for the courthouse.
Yeah, and so what we were told is vendors will be here the night before, that's why they're shutting it out at 5. Because they shut everything down, I believe it's at 10 o'clock at night, all the entertainment, so.
I think it's 10:30 is last call, and I think the band's done at 11.
Oh, okay, well, whenever it's done, the vendors from that town pick up and leave, they have to be in the next town and set up by 9:30 in the morning, because they get inspected again in the next town. So they'll be here, from what we were told at the last meeting I was at, is they'll be rolling into the square approximately midnight to 1 o'clock, depending when they get everything, and then they'll set up, and they might be sleeping in their trucks right there. But they have to have everything set up ready to go. I believe it was 9:30.
And they've been really decent about saying what they need from us, right?
Yeah, the city's got everything set up for water, electric, all that stuff.
And the county, what I was told is.
Mike's got something to add.
No, they'll ask us.
In correlating with the person that's talked about gravel roads, I've mentioned it several times, that Madison County needs to be listed on their certificate of insurance. Did that come up in that meeting?
It was much more general.
It seemed like that's kind of disappearing.
We need to make sure that that's.
That Madison County is listed on their approved certificate of insurance. Maybe when we get to the bidding process, we ask for that.
Okay.
So we want proof of their insurance on the back.
So it's real common with our road construction projects that we are listed with the contractor as co-insurees. So what that does is that helps protect us if there's a rider unfortunately has some sort of, something go wrong out there, the county would be drug in, or they're drug in with the same group of, yes. And maybe Aaron can lighten this more on the legal aspect.
Okay.
But I would recommend that we get added to that list.
Makes sense. Okay, well, anyway, that was the meeting I went to and what I found out. Beautiful.
Yes.
All right, I don't have anything else. Michelle, you've been trying to give a board report for a while now, and, well, it was a long agenda, it was a pretty non-controversial one, so go ahead, bring us up to date on what you got.
Excellent. So I served as a scribe for the opioid task force meeting. I will be stepping back from that. That's launched, and they're doing a great job. So the next meeting is May 16th. Open records policy, working with the attorney's office and Sam. Sam has received feedback from the department heads and offices. So those responses have been organized, and then they're going to be shared. And we'll decide how to go forward, creating a countywide policy for processing open records requests. The boards and commissions appointment policy, that was implemented previously, and just as an ongoing work with educating those boards and commissions about the new policy. Casey's appointment today was an example of it working, how we're hitting that advanced 3-month mark, and being able to communicate and get responses back to keep these boards on task and on track. Then the Madison County policies, this is something I'm hoping to get direction from you folks. There was a memo sent out as far as the steps we're going through to determine what policies are in place, what condition they're in, and how you want to go forward on that list of the county policies. They're at different stages, so you can either respond to me via email or right now, but that was sent out April 9th, so.
It is good to look at those on an annual basis. I mean, some of them hardly ever change. Other
Correct.
ones can be pretty.
And they're in place, they're in place,
And some of them need to change.
as we found, so.
And maybe it, you know, a lot of them are kind of set up to be on a fiscal year, but maybe it's better to have them staggered, so you're doing one a month or something.
That, or do we wanna make it part of our organizational meeting, and we do everything else? Just review everything, all the.
In January?
I think that's a good idea.
That's very,
Or maybe December before that, just to kind of do it, because December's usually pretty slow.
December is usually
I
fairly
think
slow,
that's
but then depending on the holidays.
To go
fall,
through
you may
them
have-
all?
Yeah, just
Yeah,
have
I
a,
like that.
you know, pre-organizational meeting.
But
Go
if you're
through
really, if you're really going over them in detail, it's not a quick, some of them will be, it's like, yep, looks good, no changes, but do justice, I don't kinda like the idea of doing one a month, or however many there might
How
be.
many policies do we have?
Well, that was on a spreadsheet attached to your memo, and so I can present to you, if you'd like, I can take, like, in order of the ones I'm thinking is the most outdated, send them to you 1 month, and then we get it done, and then we put it in form of a resolution. Really, do you think a policy should have a resolution, a policy attached to a resolution, or sometimes they're contained within? I know this is very
Probably
weedy
attached
thing,
would be
but
my-
I think you need to decide,
But-
So you want the
so
one
that
a
they're
month,
compared the same.
so he
By
wants
by
the 100
and
now.
large, someone within the county should have ownership of each policy. Well, HR is an obvious one, you know, employee policy,
Mhm,
it's Kelly's deal.
exactly.
So then she could say, hey, these are some suggested provisions I have, and can present it to us. So if there can be an ownership to each policy, that would be helpful.
Okay, and then they're in one location, so that when somebody new comes on board, yes, here's your handbook, but here's also some policies that are maybe specific, that don't fit into the handbook, which we found to be true, correct?
Yeah.
And since that's something that people should be seeing and hire, Kelly seems like a logical person for you to work with to come forward with that. So,
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm good with doing it once a month.
I mean,
That's
you
fine.
give it an honest look.
Yeah.
If you're doing 10 of them at one meeting, you're just gonna give them a cursory look.
But I don't wanna say, if we have 100 policies out there,
Yeah,
that's
I
gonna
don't
take us
think-
100 months, I
No,
don't
I
wanna
don't-
do that.
I don't think,
Well, if it's too many, then we'll
But some of
do
them are
2 a
gonna
month.
be-
We have a list, I
We'll just
mean,
pick
I
them, yeah.
literally
Yeah.
poured through all the shared drives, all of, everything, so I brought to you everything I thought was a credible policy.
I think we should go to small bites, take 2 a month.
Once a
I'm
month?
okay with that.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that it doesn't go out too far, and I'll work with Kelly to make sure that she
excellent.
catalogs and controls them.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank
Sounds
you.
good.
Thank you.
All right,
That includes my report.
great. Any other old business?
Can I decommission the junk, get rid of that for the court?
I just had somebody reach out to me that's interested, so
In the
they're
stuff?
listening on the phone, so I just directed them to Chip. That's
All right,
okay.
then we get that going.
Good. New business, use of CICS space. What's that
I
about?
brought that up because I know we've talked about this before, but they are basically redoing that whole space. They bought a bunch of new furniture, and I know we've talked about, how are we gonna utilize it? Are we gonna move them to a smaller space since they're only here once a week, and then they may not even be here, depending on the organization? It just seems like did we tell them that we're thinking about?
We told them that if the construction's done, feel free to move in. This may be an interim situation, but I feel pretty adamant that while this mental health organization's going on, we need to have as active and viable location supply as we can, so we don't just say, there's nothing down there, then come to Des Moines for it.
Right, no, I'm not saying that we should do that, I'm just saying, they're making this space as if it's permanent, it seems that way.
They know it's not.
They got
They
rid
know
of
it may
half
not
the
be.
furniture because, the landfill, they called them and I asked, and the landfill came and took they had the whole front room full of all that new furniture, so the landfill put it in their office. All that new
And that's
stuff.
brand new furniture for a very, it's tailored to a very large space, and if we end up going down to a smaller space.
What do you
we're
have
having
in
to-
mind for
That's
that
on,
room though?
that's on them, it's not our furniture.
No.
I know, I just wanna make sure that they're aware that this is not gonna be their permanent
They're aware.
space.
Well, may or may not.
Maybe not.
Nobody knows anything as far as mental health.
So maybe, do you think maybe regional, it will be permanent?
I hope there's a permanent presence in Madison County. And if you don't have a presence in there and you get gobbled up by Des Moines, you're never gonna get it back.
No,
is
I
my
want a
thoughts.
permanent presence
So
here,
do I,
it's
but
important.
we haven't had a permanent presence except for a
Been-
long time.
Yeah, it's been more of a part-time presence. but-
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, roof and drain issues, we visited that, Chip on that. That has been a headache from day one.
Could we
So
just
are we
put on?
Telling them it's okay to do this, or how?
He's gonna get a couple bids entry, and we'll
Okay.
come back to
Then
it.
are we gonna have to do a resolution to remove those trees? The city doesn't wanna remove, is what I was told.
Well, we can remove them and replace them with trees that aren't so messy.
We can use this, yeah, we can get a 15-foot tree, a small tree, or no,
Or a
something.
maple or oak or.
They're all, I used to tell people at my old job, if you want a perfectly manicured lawn, don't plant a tree.
it offers, I like the shade, I like the look of them, but I totally understand if it's causing
And sticks all over. And
issues
I
with
know.
maintenance, that costs money, so.
And then it has, he's right, it's been a problem a long time. So he's gonna get,
Look at what the bids are, move them in, and we'll decide. All right, courthouse exterior project, how did your event Saturday go?
it went good. We took them into the CICS office so they could see what the ceilings look like without those, old ceilings. It was very positive. A lot of people are more than willing to spend money because they want to keep our sense of community in a beautiful building. So it was a positive, nice morning.
Excellent. Top time revision, we're supposed to see a,
They told me we'll have it Friday,
okay,
but I'll be very happy if I do it Monday. But, I'm hoping to come sooner. I told them the sooner the better.
They've taken, it needs to be done. Yeah, good.
okay, and then ordinance review, we're working on one as we speak,
Yeah.
and more will come, so. All right, anything else today? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So,
Motion by Diane, second by Heather, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.